Good morning. I may pronounce your name incorrectly, and please correct me if I do. Valita. Good morning. If you would like to put your, or we would prefer if you put your name and the school that you're joining us from in the chat. What school are you from? I listed in the chat that my name is Wendy King, and excuse me, a past president of Broward County Council, PTA. Everglades, okay. You're on mute. Hello. Unmute yourself so I can hear you, please. Oh, you can't? Oh, okay.
Okay, finally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you're
Good morning.
outside. Aren't you lucky?
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh,
Yes,
my-
I am.
How are you?
I'm quite well. Thank you for asking.
Good.
We didn't really get much out here, but I'm assuming that you're further up north.
Yeah, I'm in Broward.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so we didn't get, I'm in Sunrise, so we really didn't get anything but just winds, thank goodness,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
But we know the devastation that's going up throughout the states.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and one of my children who's went to college in Orlando and lives in Orlando, his house just got a little bit of water, which is not bad. We replaced that. And now it's heading up to, I have family in North Carolina and Georgia. So I'm just hoping that that thing just goes out to water.
see.
He has done enough devastation.
Correct. And
How about yourself?
10 minutes away from here, close to University and Pembroke Pines, we
Okay.
had a tornado touchdown and flipped over a few of the airplanes. And
yes, I saw that in Perry, right? It's Perry.
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct. That is correct.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, we're lucky. We scathed everything.
Absolutely. That's
So
the most
God bless
important
us,
part.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
God did his work.
True indeed.
Is this your first year on the board?
No, this is not my first year. I've been a part of PTSA for the past, I should say, 10 years. And
oh, wow.
my
Great.
My first time being a president, though.
Okay.
You
knew, I think it's Helene. Yes.
Yes, she's my neighbor.
Oh, she is?
Yes, she is.
Oh my goodness. Tell her Wendy King says hello. I love
oh my
her
gosh,
and
I
her
will.
family.
Noted, I will do that.
Oh
yes.
my God. They did so much for PTA. Her daughter, and they did, I think it's her husband who did, or her daughter that did all the pictures and stuff when we had our reflections program.
Correct.
Oh my God, they're amazing.
Yes,
amazing.
she's a great photographer. Yes.
Yeah.
We all do.
How's her mom doing?
Well, her mom is with her, so every now and then I get a glimpse and see, and wave and stuff like that. But I never know the true situation.
Yeah,
because it's just a high and by. But from my you know, from my view, she seems okay.
Thank
God bless.
goodness.
Yes, yes. Keep
Yeah,
your
'cause
prayers.
she was having a rough time at one point, so that's good.
Yeah, it was, you know, but we tried to support her as long as we could. She did it, and we were very thankful because it was a rough time in our PTSA because we were losing a lot of members. At one point, we
Yes,
were at 5 to
yes,
6, so we were wearing many hats. And at the
right.
same time, you know, I got a chance to see how our school, our community, our families, you know, were able to partake and, you know, participate. Though it's still, you know, a crawl, but
That's
we're
okay.
getting, yes, that's what I say too. It's
That's
okay.
okay.
As long as
Every
we're out
little
there.
steps, you take little steps,
True
and that
indeed.
works. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many members they're texting? In between, I'm gonna get texts from the, okay. So how many members do you all have so far? Have you all?
Now, because most of our parents transitioned from middle school, so we
Mhm.
were able to get 5 parents. So altogether, now we're at 11 or 12.
Yay,
Yes, I want to say
very
that.
good.
Yes, I agree.
Oh my goodness, good morning.
Yeah, it took a while for that transition to happen with the microphone and video.
Oh, okay. It's
Yeah.
coming in slowly.
Yes.
Good morning, how are you? Welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing
morning.
excellent. What school? If you can do me a favor, because we're trying to capture as much information as we can you put your information in what school? I know you're president, but which school you're on the Zoom representing?
Yes.
Thank you
And
so
do I put
much.
that in the chat?
Yes, please.
Okay.
They're text me, so they're still in their general meeting. So probably in the next 5 minutes, they should be moving into the rooms and so forth. And is your name Jen, or how do you pronounce it?
Jennifer.
Oh, it's Jennifer. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
What school are you from, Jennifer?
I am from Challenger Elementary in Tamarack, Florida.
Oh my goodness, you're right around the corner from me.
Oh, where are you?
I'm in Sunrise. I'm right on University Drive.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
actually I live in Sunrise. I'm right across the street behind Wawa.
You are right. So you're on what is that? 41st?
I'm on 90 behind Wawa on Commercial.
Okay, you're right
At the
there.
Wawa.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember they just built one over there.
Yes. I'm closer to the one on University and 41st.
Did you
We're
get
neighbors.
that message?
I did. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
I've only Zoomed a couple of times, so I'm still learning everything here.
Look, I will honestly say I can't wait till the Zoom world is finished.
Oh,
Yes, I will love to be back in person. We've been doing Zoom since 2020.
Yeah,
yes.
You know, so you lose all that connection
I
to
agree.
meet, that personalization. So I would love to regain that. And they started today because they're in Fort Lauderdale High School.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's good. That's good. And they had a lot of people, we had a lot of people sign up. I hope they made it there because we had a lot of food and all that other stuff and some great vendors.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Maybe after I'm done, I'll probably drive over there.
Wonderful, because they have the afternoon classes, you know that. And then we were able to get our breakfast sponsored and lunch sponsored.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
What time is the afternoon session for us?
It started I believe it's 1:45.
Okay.
Yeah, so lunch starts at noon.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Jennifer. My name is Vuliette, and I'm with Everglades High School.
Hi, Juliet. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Everglades, is that out west?
Yes, we are.
Is that like closer in Weston area?
No, further.
Further? I didn't know there was anything further than that.
Yes.
Everglades.
We're not by the Everglades. Broward High School is by the Everglades.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So we're a little bit more closer to going towards Miami.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're right at the cusp.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
I think I've almost been to all the schools in Broward.
Almost.
Almost all the
Then
schools in Broward.
then I will
Yeah,
invite
that's-
you to Everglades.
please invite us. You know,
Yes.
that's one thing that I know the units sometimes get scared that when Broward County Council comes in, we don't do anything. We're not the PTA police. We just come in
Mhm.
just to say hello, how are things going? We love to come to events. And one of the things that units forget, we join PTAs all
Yes.
over Broward.
That is true.
Oh, okay.
So if you all send that information, you just go on our website, www. And I'm going to list it, browardptsa.org, and invite every single person on that list. If it's 30, I think there's 30 of us, at least 5+ will join.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
great.
Yeah, and I join every PTA, whether it's in this state, New York, Georgia, anywhere. As long as someone
Wow.
sends it to me, I'm
Oh,
joining.
I love that.
Oh,
Yeah, we do. We do. We do, to be honest. Good morning, Gabrielle. How are you? Good morning. Welcome. You're on mute. Can you please put your information? Okay, she fell off. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, this is the only downfall to the Zooms.
that's
I know,
correct.
I know.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, but like I was saying, we join a lot of PTAs.
That's
Because we
great.
represent the, you think of us as just Broward, we're part of state, we're part of national,
Mhm.
so we represent the whole country, so we
Wow.
join from anywhere. And if you wanted to look at schools, I mean, Broward and Florida is good, but if you want to look at units or schools that are really doing great things, which there's a lot of all over, look at California, look at New
Really?
Jersey,
Mhm.
and look at New York. They do a lot of different programs and so forth. That,
Strange that you say that because I'm originally from New York and I don't recall ever a school having a PTSA.
oh my goodness, yes, New York is big
Wow.
and very involved as far as PTA is concerned.
Because
That's good
out
to
in
know.
Long Island, my nieces, they're like, Diti, you do PTSA? They were like, what is that? I said, well, that's where parents get involved and they partake in, and they were like, oh, we don't have that at our school. We don't do that.
Wow.
I wish that we
Wow.
had that. So it's funny that you say New York and New Jersey.
Mhm. They're really good. And do you all have a membership chair at your school?
A member what?
Membership chair.
Oh,
Someone that
yes.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
No, what's that?
A membership, you can have a VP of membership. That's the person that's trying to bring in as many members
Oh.
into your board, whether old, new, because one of the things we forget, and I know we're doing Member Hub. If you go
Mhm.
back from last year and pull that list and
Mhm.
call those parents and say, I noticed you haven't joined yet. Would you be interested in rejoining PTA, and tell them what you're planning to do? Because
Mhm.
even though their children have moved on,
Right.
they're still part of your community, so they may still join.
Right.
We
We have a lot that volunteer to help at events, but I don't know if they've actually joined the PTA, like the membership. I just know that they always just show up.
No, you all have to, I will tell you, when they show up, take their names and numbers.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make sure that they sign up, and if they sign up themselves, their grandparents, their whomever, just invite them and make them
Mhm.
feel welcome. And I think, that's great that they're coming to your school,
Right.
but I see someone getting on. Good morning, Tally. How are you? I know you're still trying to connect. Yeah, and grow your membership.
Yeah, that's great.
Good morning, Tally. How are you? And I'm actually the membership chair for Florida PTA. I'm fine, and yourself?
Good.
Thanks for joining. Can you please put your information, what school you're from,
Oh,
in the
sure.
chat, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah, so my goal, we started this thing with Florida PTA. Basically, I became the chair for membership, and the goal is to be great this year.
Hmm.
Growth, retention, making sure we are engaging with our families. Awards, whether it's the end of the year or during the year. Make sure that make sure you give them something. It could be a certificate, it doesn't matter. And then the most important thing is to thank them.
Hmm.
Just to thank them. Good morning, Carlotta. I'm sorry if I pronounce your name incorrectly. Please correct me. And please put your information. Good morning, how are you? Good. Please put your information in the chat, please. Which school you're from, you're representing. Sterling Elementary, how are you all? Tally, how are you all doing?
We're doing all right. Actually, we started off pretty late. We didn't have elections last year, so we have a new board. One member from the previous board is a part of the group. So we're just trying to get everything started. So that's where we are.
We're in that boat too over at Challenger Elementary. We're an all new board also.
Did we lose Wendy?
I think so.
Oh, wow. Yes, a lot of people got a lot of late start. It was hard to get the board going this year.
Yeah, it was definitely very overwhelming coming
True.
from not being on the PTA at all and then being the president and having an all new board.
Wow.
So I think we're all learning together.
So did you have binders left behind so you can figure out how to navigate?
No, I've just kind of looked at stuff that I've been sent from all of the years of you know, if something is like, oh, we've had past recordings of stuff, I've just tried to update myself like that.
Okay.
Last year's president has been helpful as far as like receiving any phone calls if I need help, but again, I don't know what I'm asking until I'm already in the situation. So
Yeah, usually there is a template that that most schools do.
Mhm.
So from you know, from the welcome back breakfast to luncheons or little give backs to staff,
Mhm.
and your events, you know, mostly the fundraising for elementary is usually great because you guys can put together events from spaghetti night to
Right.
family nights and those type of things to help, you know, generate money for the end of the year. But
That sounds like fun. Yeah, it's just coming up with the ideas. I mean, our principal at the school has been incredibly helpful.
great.
You know, she has set the template. This is what we've done in the years past. This is what's been working for us. So thankfully, we've had her to kind of help us navigate through that.
That's great. That's what
Mhm.
definitely you need your principal, you know, to support you and be behind you 100%. Because
Yeah.
without that, it's hard to actually get things going. I
Yeah,
agree.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. We're gonna get started soon. I know that they're still working through the general meeting.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your host will be Wendy King. She just got bumped off, so I'm just waiting for her to come back in.
Okay. For those who have just joined, Wendy has been asking each school to place on the chat the school that they're representing from. So if you haven't, I guess that will be one way just to get things going. Oh, I see a sister school from Coral Cove, Letta Vasquez.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Letta. I'm with Everglades. My kids actually attended Coral Cove Elementary as well.
Oh, that's my sister-in-law works at Glades. So that's the school that we're going to. I don't know if you know her. Her name is Mabel Vasquez. Russo, I'm
No.
sorry, I forget her last name is her married name, Russo. So that's the next school for us, and we'll have her keep an eye on the kids.
Definitely, that's nice.
Yes.
So how is Principal Sabin?
Well, she's still saving. She's doing well. We actually, so it's been a couple of years, the PTA, you have COVID and then you had kind of a comeback from COVID. So this year is the first year we have kind of a new built out PTA. We have a lot of board members, a lot of general members. So there's a lot of new energy and Sabin's really excited.
Wonderful.
But she brings a lot of the energy too. So we're really thankful for her.
Yes, she
Yeah.
came in my last year there, so I didn't get a chance to really work with her on a lot of the events. So every now
She's
and then,
really,
it's always a
she's
pleasure.
really open to all kinds of stuff and really open to helping us, and she will help spread the word, or she'll get the teachers involved, or she'll give them like awards or whatnot, just to kind of help any of the things that we're doing. So it's been really great.
Excellent. If you ever need help, we as a sister PTSA, we're here to help as well. So we can always share and try to put the word out for things that you have going on.
Oh, that would sound great. And vice versa. And I was talking to the girls, because again, we're all new PTA folks. We're it's first year that we're doing it. Most of us, I think a couple of them are second year, but again, the PTA was just not what it is today. So really kind of like our first real strong year. So
Correct.
we're talking about sister schools and even like areas in the daycares, things in the area where people are gonna like come to Coral Cove after, right? So we're just having all kinds of ideas. So definitely we'll reach out to you with I'll get your information and we'll reach out for sure.
Are you familiar with the iZone meeting happening next week, Thursday? Maybe you should come out to that.
The iZone?
Correct.
Okay, no, I wasn't. I don't think I'm familiar with that right now. So
Okay, maybe we can share emails, and I can send you some of the flyers so that you can possibly, maybe some of your PTA members can attend.
okay, I will send you a direct message. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Let's see. Juliet, and what is your position at Glades PTA?
At Everglades, I'm president.
Everglades president. Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
Hi again, everybody. Just want to give you an update. Wendy's cable box had gotten knocked out, so she's joining us again. And there's always technical stuff, isn't there? Murphy's
Yes.
Law. And I know that they were still running a little long on the general meeting. So as soon as she's back on and they link us up to the class, you guys will get started. So you have time, go to the bathroom, get a coffee, keep talking. We'll get started as soon as they link us in and Wendy's on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Sharon.
Good morning. Is there a roll call or anything here?
There will be because it's being recorded, so we do have a list of everybody who has logged in.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good morning to all.
You're welcome.
Good morning.
Hi, Wendy.
Hello, I'm back. Yay.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Zoom.
Wendy, I just made you host, so I am
Oh,
headed over to the other room.
thank you very much, my dear.
You're welcome.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Wendy King. I'm past president of Broward County Council PTA. Welcome to the Zoom. It doesn't look like they've started yet. They're still in the general meeting. Okay, I see a shaking head. Can you all please do me a favor? Please, in the chat, please list your information, which school you're representing, and I'll put my message back in because it went down. I was told that someone was really doing a great job when my system went down. They were talking to everybody. Whoever that was, thank you very much. And I'm sure that's Miss Everglades.
Trying.
Thank you so much.
You're very
Yolene,
welcome.
good morning, Yolene. How are you, my dear? Yolene used to be on our board.
Good morning. Good to see you.
You too, my dear.
Have a
Good morning, Melissa. Let's see who. Karen, if I pronounce your name incorrectly, please forgive me. Nicola, Tracy, Janice, Evelyn, Anna, and Leti, and I think everybody, Tracy, I think everybody else was on here before. I see Anthony also. Welcome aboard. When they start, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat, and then I will then send it to the assistant that's helping. Today it is Sharon Pazlowski, who is our president, and Burton Miller, who's our past president, that will be doing the classes. Treasurer. I'm going to see if the classes have started. Give me one moment, please. Okay, I was just told they're running behind. How's everybody doing today? I like the way how you do that. Carlotta, are you at the beach? Are you at the beach? Unfortunately, we can't hear you. Put it in the chat.
It looks like her headset, the speaker, put it down. Okay.
Oh,
No?
okay. I can hear you. No, no,
I don't hear her.
no, it's okay. Wherever you are, it looks like it's a lot of fun. That much I can say. Put it in the chat. Thank you. Let me write my information back again. Okay. Just listed my information. Melissa, do you volunteer with the PTA? I see that you're an ESE coordinator.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wonderful. What do you do on the PTA?
She does a
So,
lot.
For Glades
She's a
Middle,
wonderful person.
Oh, really? Thank you. So are you. Nice to see you here. For Glades Middle, I am the proud volunteer coordinator.
Oh,
And,
wonderful.
Our wonderful president from last year and this year have continued to see that the ESC community needs a resource
Absolutely.
for ESC. And I'm
totally agree.
also District 2's representative as a parent rep.
Mhm.
And also I do the same thing for inclusion at our Sunset Lake Elementary.
Wonderful,
Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you for all you do.
And
You know,
we're
we
going to
had-
be having a support group actually that our wonderful Glades PTSA is going to be sponsoring.
Okay,
And everybody, it's open to every single person that can link into Zoom. So
oh, that's
we're going to
wonderful.
get that out there. Mhm. Thank you.
We had one elementary school, it's Horizon Elementary, which is here in the city of Sunrise. And some of the ESE parents that are on that board are starting diversity, inclusion, diversity, equity, and inclusion team. So maybe you all can all link together. So if you all can send me your information, I will put my email address here in the chat, and maybe we can link possibly a couple of schools. And I
Absolutely,
love
because
that idea.
inclusion is the main thing for us. Everything. It's no kid left behind. So
That
they're
is
included in
correct.
all of the events.
That's correct. We say all children, not one child. We are there for all children. I think they're thinking of also doing like a sensory room. So.
Let me know if they need help with that. We started it at Sunset Lakes, and we have a Patriot Pals program, which is a mentoring buddy program that was started a few years back, and it's still going there too.
Wonderful. I know they will, because, you know, it's just in the process and they haven't done anything. So they will need a lot of help. Thank you for that information.
Hi, Wendy, I have a question. I have my
Hello, I have my president saying to join the advocacy bylaws session via Zoom. Is that this one?
No, that's the other one.
Oh, okay. So there's a couple of Zooms going. I didn't see.
There's two Zooms. It's
Oh,
this
there's
one
two
and
rooms. Got it.
advocacy.
Got
Correct.
it. Okay. So I'll make sure that somebody also do that one. I'll do this one. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Let me see if I have the ability to. Oh, okay. I don't want to hit a breakout room and send you somewhere else and we lose you, so. Automatically, I don't know.
No, I found the room. Somebody else in my team is gonna get in there. Thank
Okay,
you.
great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Just a quick question.
Sure.
Treasurers, we can be in this meeting for treasurers, right?
The treasurer's meeting is going on right now. It's in person. And then this afternoon, the second session will be on Zoom and in person. So
The
you
one
can
that's
get-
at 2:15, correct?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
And you all can be at what you all do is, if there's 4 board members, you tag team. So a president can be in a president's class, or if your president isn't there, your treasurer can be there, VP, anyone, as long as you all take the information back to each other, that's absolutely fine.
And we're gonna receive, at the end of the day, we're gonna receive paperwork, right? With information in case we miss something, correct?
Everything will be online, so I'm gonna put our website information here, and you'll be able to pull up all the presentations as they happen, also including the ones from 2021 and this current one. It will all be online probably by Monday.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I always have to look to make sure I'm typing the correct information. The information is in the chat right now. And also, if you want to see a log of all the classes, you can also use that www.browardptsa.org link, and it will show you every single class that's going on right now. The whole agenda. Anthony.
Yes,
Good morning,
ma'am.
Anthony. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. Just like you. I think you are the only male on this call. Thank you for getting on. We're so excited. Were you there last year or?
Yeah, so
Okay.
you probably
I met you
remember
last
me from 2015 to 17 because I was the president at Nova Middle back then when my daughter was in school. And so when I came around this year, that's when Earlene and Maxine and stuff.
Okay, got it.
So when I have twins there now, and so when the principal saw me, he was like, "Hey, can you be president again?" And so it was kind of some confusion because it was coming out of COVID. And I think
Right.
there was a previous PTA, but the president moved away. And so, nothing happened, whatever. And so when we came on, we had the first meeting, and then a couple of people came up and say, "Hey, what happened?" I said, "I don't know, get with the principal." I said, "You guys can take over if you want to, but, I've been asked to do it. So, we can do it, whatever." So I've had somebody go already to Sharon. She just coming on complaining about what happened because we didn't have elections, but it's kind of hard coming out of COVID and we just wanted to get things rolling.
Understood. So are you all back in compliance, meaning you all have already been elected and so forth, or is that something Sharon already has in place?
Well, we've been trying to meet with her, but her schedule is busy. So at this point, it's already started, and then we're just going to do it next year. We'll post everything in January and then have an election in March. But at this point, to try to change everything is too much.
No, it's not a matter of, and I'm just being open, it's not a matter of changing it. You have to be in compliance for here and Florida PTA, and it's not that we're going to change it. If it's not broken, we're not going to change it in any way.
Right.
But you do need to have official minutes
We
and
do,
an official minute and an official meeting
we do
done.
every month, yes.
No, for your election. I'm talking about for your election. So what I'm gonna do, Anthony, because I have your information, what I'm going to do is turn that information over to Chris,
Okay,
and we'll simply get on and just do the official elections. That's all. We're not gonna change anything. You all have already started. We've had quite a few schools do that this year. And I will tell you, after COVID, anything is expected, okay? Colita, and you did the same thing at your school. It happens, and we just want to make sure that you all are in compliance. That's the main thing.
yeah, and that's the thing. That's why, as the only male and being in it, I try to make sure that everything is squared away because, they left some bills and stuff like that, and we tried to square a lot away so that there's no issues with owing anybody or
Understood.
stuff like that. So everything is
Understand.
good to go. We'll do that. If they want to, we could do it at our meeting we have next week.
Okay, excuse me, Anthony, we have our president, Sharon Kozlowski, right there. Unmute yourself, lady. Unmute yourself. Oh, the room is filled. Can you unmute yourself? Unmute. She's trying to figure out what she.
All right, so
Say hello to the glam squad, please.
hello, everybody at home. That's a great crowd.
It is.
Fantastic. All right, so if I could get everybody to mute their mics, please. I'm going to start my presentation here. And this is residents. Oops, that's not what we want.
And Sharon, I will be sending, I've already texted Bert, I will be sending messages, whatever
Okay.
questions they have directly to him.
Perfect.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Share my screen. All right. How we doing? Fantastic. That is the right answer. So thank you for coming today. I know it's hard to give up a Saturday, but I truly appreciate all of you coming out to learn about PTA. This is our president's class. We're just going to talk about all the things the president does, all the things the president does, all the things to help you plan for your year and make sure you have a nice, smooth, smart start, not smart. It's fine. Oops. You lost it already. It's going too fast. Wait. Hold on. My slideshow is going too fast. So we always want to start with the mission and end with the mission, right? Everybody know our mission? Okay, so our PTA mission for all of us is making every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children. So if we think about everything we do in that lens, if we think about everything we do in that lens, right? Everything we do starts with the mission, ends with the mission. It helps make our decision-making processes a lot better, right? If we know that this is our goal always, right? So congratulations, you're presidents now. You're a leader, so let your enthusiasm show. As president, it is your goal to protect the assets of your PTA and guiding those in their elected positions on the executive board and empowering your executive committee to be productive members of our school community. So what does that mean, right? You set the tone for your PTA. You set the priorities for your PTA. So when you sit down to make your budget or make your calendar for the year, when you start doing the actual work, it's your vision that's guiding the PTA, right? So you want to make sure that you know what your vision is. There's still people. Thank you. We get so wrapped up in the day-to-day and the events and the fundraising or the teacher day or whatever it is, that sometimes we don't have what is the overall goal for this year, right? How are we engaging families? How are we empowering communities? So those are, as president, you want to make sure you set the right tone for your board. This class will provide easy to follow steps to ensure your success, and we believe in you. This is Bert Miller. He came in a few seconds late. He is our immediate past president. He's just hanging out. So the overview of a local PTA, it's your executive committee, right? Who knows who the executive committee is? I did, but it went too fast and I can't see any of the buttons. Slide maybe.
Minimize this.
All right. All right. No, that didn't work at all. We're trying. I don't know. No, that's the Zoom thing. It's fine. Is it fine? Can you see it all right? All right. So your executive committee. Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Just by you.
Oh, I didn't know it was behind me.
There you go.
I'm just president.
That? So that like that?
Yeah.
Fine. So your executive, who knows who the executive committee is?
The president, the vice president, the treasurer, the secretary, and the administrator, the school administrator.
So the school administrator has a role on your board, but they're not part of your executive committee. The executive committee are like your elected people, your officers, right?
Okay.
And then your board is anybody else that you bring in. So that would be your administrator or a teacher liaison, maybe. If you have committees or committee chairs, they would be part of your board. And they would participate in meetings, right? So you'd have an executive board meeting, but the executive committee are just those elected officers. So that's your executive committee. The board of directors is the whole board. So all those committee chairs, anybody else that's sitting on your board. So your administrator always has a role on your PTA. They're part of your board, but they have to be a paid member if they want to vote. So make sure you collect those dollars, right, from that principal if they want to have a vote on your budget or anything. Students and parents, if you're a PTSA, you have student members. You want to try to have a student rep on your board as well if you have a PTSA, and then your community members, because then that could be anybody in your community, grandparents, aunts, uncles, business members. So these are part of your whole PTA overall, right? And we want to make sure that we're welcoming to everybody that can bring something to our PTA, which is what? Everybody, right? Everybody has a chance to bring something to your PTA that maybe if you didn't reach out and extend into your community, you wouldn't be able to find. Understanding your new role. So when you become president, if you've never been a president before, like what's the first thing you do, right? You want to make sure you visit if you have a PTA office at your school, you go in there, see what kind of records are there, see what kind of inventory you have, make sure it's organized. We have best practices for record keeping. So maybe you want to sort through records so it's not overwhelming for you, right? Make sure you meet your school administration. If you have not done that yet, introduce yourself, let them know that you're there to be a partner with them in the work of PTA. locate your bylaws and standing rules. Have a good understanding of your governing documents, right? So the bylaws, everybody knows the bylaws. There's only a few lines that can be changed on there, right? Like the month of the meeting or how many vice presidents you're going to have. But those documents have all the outline of how the election should be run, how your audit is done at the end of the year, right? So those are the governing documents that all PTAs follow. Standing rules are rules for your own PTA, right? So we're going to have our meetings on the second Tuesday of the month, and reports need to be turned in 2 days before the meeting. And we're allowed to do Zoom or whatever. How expenses will be paid. Make sure that's in your standing rules so that the bookkeeping does not get away from you, right? Very important to have things like that in your standing rules. The standing rules are decided by your executive board. So maybe there's a committee that sits together and makes a plan, and then the board votes on it. So everybody's in agreement with the standing rules as you begin your work, right? I'm telling you, standing rules solve so many conflicts. It solves conflicts before they start because everybody understands what their priorities are and what their responsibilities are. So if you do not have standing rules for your PTA, I would highly recommend you drafting some or putting a committee together to draft some. We can help you with that if you need samples of standing rules or ideas of how to make it effective. We can help you with that. But it just resolves conflict before it can even start, right?
How many people have standing rules but now
Yeah.
policies and procedures?
Yeah, it's not a lot, right? Right. So again, go ahead.
Is that something that maybe we could get before we leave the class today or no? Just like a sample.
Maybe if not, I can make sure we get them out. We can make sure we have some samples that the area coordinators can send out.
Okay.
But think about everybody's standing rules is going to look a little different, right? Depending on your community, depending on who your PTA board members are, what time is convenient for you to meet, all of those things. So you really, we can give you like sample ideas, but really you want to cater it to your PTA, your community, and what works for your school. But really, the spending part, the cash handling part should all be part of your standing rules. So that you definitely want your treasurers involved in crafting those rules so that everybody understands how things will be reimbursed.
Now, the sample that we'll send out will be a sample from a school. So
Yes.
you guys can edit it. It'll be in a Word doc, so you can edit it to your school, okay? And
Yeah.
change things you want. And the standing rules is a working document or policies and procedures. Some people call it standing rules, some people call it policies and procedures. And it's a working document. So that can be changed at any time by your executive board, okay? Your executive board is basically your board, your executive committee, or your elected officers. So your executive board can change anything. It doesn't go to the general membership to change your policies and procedures.
Yeah.
Standing rules.
The standing rules are just yours, right? Just your boards and how you're going to operate, right? You want to make sure, locate the most recent tax forms filed. If you cannot find this, let us know. We can help you with that. You want to make sure your taxes are up to date. If you miss 3 years of taxes, the IRS revokes your 501c3 standing. So you definitely want to make sure if you're coming in and you don't know where those documents are kept, or if you don't know if the taxes have been filed, contact us. We can find out for you and help you get caught up. And one other thing I'll say about anything with the IRS, if the IRS contacts you in any way, you need to let us know immediately so we can help you, right? We have a whole office in Orlando that will help us, and they know the process. So it would be a faster way to make sure that you get that standing reinstated.
Do not respond to IRS.
Do not. Yes. You contact, if you get something from the IRS, you forward it to us immediately. Okay.
Because all PTAs fall under the umbrella of
Right.
the Florida Congress of PTA, which is Florida PTA. So they will handle any IRS issues. Okay, they deal with IRS on a daily basis. They have their contacts, so if you guys get a letter or something, just forward it to the Florida PTA and copy Sharon on it.
Yes. Okay, so then once all of those things, I'm good. Thank you. Yes, our tech person. Register your officers. That should also be one of the very first, as soon as your election happens, register your officers. You don't have to wait till the school year starts. You know, everybody knows how to do that. FloridaPTA.com, big green button in the top corner. Make sure you register your officers. If something changes, that's not where you go. There's another button to update your officers. So if something changes, if somebody quits, somebody moves, somebody changes position, something, you want to make sure that that's edited at the Florida PTA office too. That is an IRS requirement. So that is something that you'll see us like constant. Have you registered your officers? Have you registered your officers? It has to be a home address, has to be individual home addresses, and those are IRS compliance issues. Any questions so far? How we doing? All right.
I was also going to add, it helps when you're changing the signature cards at the bank.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Absolutely. Sorry. Organizing your school year. So during the summer, you definitely want to have organizational meeting, right? With your new board, what's the work that has to be done over the summer, right? We got to do our audit, we got to file our taxes. We also want to make our plan for the year, right? So we're going to sit down with a calendar, a school calendar, our budget. Your budget and your calendar should work together, right? Your budget and your calendar have the same events, the same line items. And then you want to make sure you have time to meet with your principal to make sure that nothing conflicts, right? So during the summer, you don't want to wait till, you know, September to go, oh, we're going to plan something in October. You'll never get it off the ground, right? Same thing with fundraisers. You want to make sure you have time to, if it's a product you're selling, like pizza cards or something, that you have time to talk to your administrators. You're not going to interrupt classroom time. So you want to go through your storage space. You want to, anything that doesn't need to be there, get rid of it. It's your turn now. You can donate old yearbooks if you want, or sell them. Inventory your t-shirts, see what you need to order over the summer so that they're ready for the first day of school, that meet and greet day. We have a big floor. This says Innisbrook. It's not Innisbrook anymore. It's in Orlando now. Our training in Orlando, it's at the Omni Hotel at Champions Gate in Orlando. It's usually a 3-day training, Thursday, Fridays, 3.5 days of really intensive training, great keynote speakers. It's a great way to connect with other PTAs throughout the whole state. Brainstorming, networking. You should always have money in your budget for that if you have it, right? To make time to go to the training in Orlando.
And that is a PTA expense, okay?
Yes, have
so-
money in your budget for it,
Yeah,
right?
and I would suggest if you're going to send 2 to 3 people, at least $2,500 in the budget. Okay.
That's the room. Yeah.
Yeah. And this year on the executive committee, we've got 2 people from Broward that are on the executive committee, which is myself and the president-elect, which is Maxine Lewis, which used to be a county council president.
Yeah.
Right. So she'll be our next president at our next in 2024. Because we just had our election. So it's a great event.
It's a great event, yeah.
So we're well represented in Broward up there.
Can I add that we'll be sitting in the front this year because so I would encourage you all. We're not going to be in the back. We're going to be
It really is a great event though, right? And the, hundreds of vendors, so you get new fresh ideas even for that. The keynote speakers have all been amazing. And it's these kind of workshops, like how to be a president, how to be a treasurer, but there's also so much more about how to be a good advocate, how to be a good ally, how to work with school board members, how to do all of these things that feel a little intimidating, right? Especially if you're brand new. So this is a great start to like learn how to do your job. But if you want to learn how to just be a better advocate, I can't recommend Orlando enough. It's a whole step beyond.
Was there anybody that went this year was the first time? Share one experience that you guys had, that you had there, that was a positive experience.
I think for me, is meeting like from different counties. So they'll be saying, I'm from Duval, and you're where's Duval? Where's this school? It's not a Broward thing. It's more like Duval, Orange County, Pinellas, Tampa. You get to meet different presidents and you share different ideas. And I met the group from Lions Creek and I got more ideas. So it was really interesting for that you meet different people from different.
Yeah, the networking's amazing.
Networking, it is.
Rebecca, I saw your hand.
Thanks. I liked meeting the Florida PTA there, something that was very, we had very real conversations about, struggles with equity and things like this that were very grounded.
Yes.
And it was wonderful to see perspective-wise, if you will, challenges that all of us have in different ways and challenges that are presented to what some of the more important challenges are in a way. But two things I learned. One, is it correct that the greater our member base, the greater amount of delegates we're able to send to?
Yes.
That was important. I had no idea until it happened.
So on that, the Orlando meeting is also our general meeting, right? It's the Florida PTA general meeting, and that's where they vote on the budget and bylaws or any other changes for the association. And the more members you have as a unit, the more people you can send to be voting delegates. And that's what Rebecca's talking about, because you don't have to just be a PTA officer to go to the Orlando thing. It's open to any PTA member. And the classes there's a lot of, like I said, classes geared on how to be an officer, but there's so many classes just to be a better a better human, right? But there's advocacy classes, there's Title I, ESC, LGBTQ, like just so many resources. So even if you're not an officer, you can go, and if you have a large delegate base, you can vote and be part of those decision-making processes, which is always exciting. Yes.
What is this event?
It's in July
13th through the 15th or 16th.
Yeah, July 13th through it's always during the summer. And I think it's almost always like the second weekend of July.
Yeah, this year we had to bump it back a week because we had to move locations. But it's going back to the week that it's over.
So just keep that in mind, and that can be part of your summer budgets as you're making your budget, as you're making your plan for the year. Also during the summer, you want to be researching your ideas for fundraising and why you're fundraising, right? We're not just fundraising to fundraise, we're fundraising for a program or an event or whatever it is. Update your signatures on your bank card. I highly recommend making sure you call your bank, whichever bank it is first, to find out what they need. Some of them need minutes. Some of them need all of you to be together at the same time. Some of them don't. We have one bank account, Bright Star, that because I'm not on that signature card, I couldn't be the first one to go. Somebody else had to go, right? So call your bank before you go so you know what you're doing. Make sure you're using a PTA friendly bank. PNC is a really PTA friendly bank, TD Bank.
How many people use Bank of America?
Yeah.
Do they make you be on Sunbiz? You know? If they do, you're not supposed to be on Sunbiz. You don't have to be paying the $335 fee or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because Bank of America usually makes you be on Sunbiz. So if they are making you.
Yeah, and when you think about the banks too, think about like TD's open 7 days a week. We're all volunteers, right? So you want, PNC has really good hours too. Like you want to find a bank that works, that you have more flexibility with, right? Because we want to make sure we're handling the cash in the most responsible way possible. Find out where your mailbox is at school. How many, does everybody have a mailbox? Okay, yeah, and that's a problem at some schools, like somebody's opening all their mail or they don't get their mail for weeks at a time. So make sure you have a designated space that your mail gets dropped off, that no one else is opening your mail. The mail belongs to the PTA, not to the school. And I think that's it. Familiar yourself with the PTA website. We have a great website, Broward County, browardptsa.org and Florida PTA. Lots of resources there to help you figure out your summer.
How many people have visited the national PTA website?
Yep, that too.
There's a lot of things on there. And if you just go to their YouTube channel, matter of fact, I was on it 3 o'clock this morning. I was on it.
Oh my God, why?
I was looking for a video. They've got a lot of the training videos on there. If you go to their YouTube channel.
Oh, so speaking of all the websites here, right? How to run your PTA. On the Florida PTA website, that's a tab. All the forms, where are the bylaws forms? Where's the audit form? It's all under those tabs, right? So these are really good sites. And then the e-library. A lot of just like 20-minute webinars there about things that you might have a question about, right? National PTA has that too, like a bunch of webinars saved, all the resources.
They have a bunch of training with
Yep.
classes on there, right? And you get a certificate when after you complete the 20-minute, you'll watch a video and you'll answer some questions, then you get a certificate when you pass it. The president's class, the secretary's
Yep.
class, treasurer's class, you can take them all, and then you get certificates.
Here's all of on the website, on the Florida PTA website, there's grants. There's a grant button. If you have a good grant writer in your group, utilize those. We've received, Broward County PTA's received 2 grants in the last year for food security and food education. But there's STEM nights, there's water challenges, there's garden challenges. So make sure you go to there. National PTA has the same too, right? They have a lot of grants too. Programs, some of the big programs are Reflections. That's in, the due date is December 2nd for your Reflections intakes. And School of Excellence is also another big national PTA program. Bert's going to do a class about that later. But it's a 2-year program. So that's something that if you're coming in as a leader in the summer, there's deadlines that you have to meet to enroll in that, but it's a great program. It brings value to your school. It actually increases property rates in neighborhoods when a PTA school is, and when a school is a PTA school of excellence. So it's a great program. Bert's going to do a class about that later.
Today is the deadline to register.
I thought I extended it to the 15th.
No, I haven't seen it, and I'm on the committee, so.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why I didn't know.
They might have, I don't know, maybe with.
When did it go out?
I think this week, that's why I stopped. I saw you.
Today was the deadline.
So the biggest button on here is our take action button, right? So I know you get like 8 million emails from Florida PTA and from us and from everybody else. But when you see those take action items, those are contact your legislator, send an email. Those are budget items. Those are things that we want for our schools and our kids. So really take a minute to open those emails and respond, right? There's 2 million PTA members just in the state of Florida. So if even half of us took the time to send an email, right, to our state legislatures or our senators, just think about what kind of impact that could have in shaping policy or shaping budget decisions, right? So that is my most important button. Take action. Make sure that we're really paying attention to those policy debates. Okay, August is time to get busy. When we meet it with our board, we begin our budget preparation. You're preparing for that meet and greet day, right? Do we have inventory? Do we have people to work it? Your PTA kit of materials will come after you register your officers, right? Usually it's like a week or two into the fiscal year. I couldn't think of the word. I'm sorry. But if you don't register your officers, you will not get a kit of materials. So make sure you register your officers. Kit of materials has all the stuff in it for all the job classes, like everybody's role and the responsibilities. It has a lot of great money matters, treasurer forms to help you run an effective PTA.
Is that delivered by mail or email?
It's email. It'll come in an email and it's different sections. You can download it and print it if you want a hard copy.
It's like 86 pages.
It's
so-
long.
It's long.
Yeah, I mean, but I'll tell you, so there's things like, so when you're talking about your organizational meeting, right? How are you getting people ready for the year? That first meeting, set your expectations, right? You're the first vice president. Here's what your job is, right? So I'm going to print that out of my kit of materials. You're the secretary. Here's your job. Principal in the PTA, print one for your principals so they understand how that relationship works, right? So you're not going in there with the principal saying, I want. It's a symbiotic relationship and there's rules, right? We are 501c3. We have to do what the IRS says we have to do, right? So get that kit of materials, give everybody like their job descriptions. That's where you're going to vote on your standing rules that first meeting, right? So everybody's in agreement on the first day, right? These are the rules we agree to work with. Everybody understands what their job is. So these are ways to make your PTA more effective right from the beginning. What is the question online?
Will a contact list of presidents for all BCC PTSA schools be issued to current presidents? Something like a directory. No, we can't share your information with everybody else unless you give us the permission to. We don't share your information with everybody.
So if you heard that online, we don't share that information unless we get permission. So if there wants to be like a network of people that do that, I'm sure there's a way you could maybe network
we don't
that.
share it with anybody.
But we
The school
don't do
district
that.
Doesn't get your information. We don't share it with anybody.
Okay, so we talked about bylaws a little. Really familiar yourself with your bylaws. Do you need to make changes? Even if your bylaws don't, maybe you just did a change. Maybe the last board did a change last year and they don't expire for 3 years. As a new president, you should come in and look at your bylaws. Do we need to make changes? Does it say we need 22 vice presidents, right? Does it say we need to have 50 people for a quorum, right? So those are things that you can change and you don't need to wait for 3 years. You can change them as befits your association. You want to make sure that your bylaws work, right? If you say you have 20, if your bylaws say you have 22 vice presidents, you have to have 22 vice presidents. So, right, if your bylaws say we're having 22 meetings, you have to have 22 meetings. So really our recommendation is always to put less is more, right? You have to have 3, you have to have 3. That doesn't mean you can't have 6, but you're not boxing yourselves in, right? And I know some schools are great. Some schools get great turnout. Some schools struggle to get that quorum. Don't make it harder on yourself, right? So look at your bylaws when you come in, make sure they work for what your situation is now.
As far as vice presidents go, you don't really need more than 1 or 2. Okay, I see VP of yearbook, VP of fundraising. You don't need that. They can be a chair, right? The yearbook chair. You can make them chairs. They'll still sit on the board, just that they're not elected. So they're not in your bylaws.
Right.
So you're not required to
have 12 officers, right?
It's ridiculous. We see 10 vice presidents at a school.
And we see it. And part of that, it hinders your business, right? If you have 22 people on your board, nothing's getting done because everybody's too busy arguing over, right? So you want, I mean, we are a business, right? We're in the business of advocating for children. And if there's anything that hinders that, we need to take another look at, right? And Bert's 100% right. Somebody can be a yearbook chair. They come to the meetings, hey, this is where we are. And that's their only job. Like that's their job, right? Or there's a carnival chair. The carnival's over, they're done. They don't even have to come back to your board meetings anymore because they're done. Right? So think about if people want to just, they love whatever the event is. I don't know what the event is. Holiday gift shop. I hate holiday gift shop. Anybody else that loves holiday gift shop, I will let you run holiday gift shop because I don't want to do it. Right? So take advantage of those people too that don't want to sit on the board, that don't have the time, but love those certain events, and you can use them for those events. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a minimum that you need to have for a quorum?
So in your bylaws, it says a minimum quorum is a minimum is 10, but that is a line that you fill in, right? So if you put 20, that's your quorum. So make sure, yeah, just put the 10. If you get 50 people to come, great, great. But sometimes it's hard just to get the 10, right?
Yeah, it is.
Right. So don't make things harder on yourselves than you need to. I mean,
Now, the quorum is for your general meeting.
Yes.
And you attend to your general membership meeting. Your
That's
board
what- yeah.
meeting, it depends on what your standing rules say. It could
Yes.
be 51%, it could be 2/3 of your board to make a board decision.
yes.
Okay.
So that's
So
your, yeah,
so
standing
it's
rules.
just that If you don't have standing rules or policy and procedures, it's 51%. But if you guys have standing rules, you might have 2/3 to be quorum in that, okay? And your bylaws have to be done every 3 years, but you can do them in between there as well. If
Yeah.
you want to update them, you can change them, but they have to be done every 3 years in order for you to be in compliance, okay?
Sorry. I'm new.
That's fine. We love you.
I feel like when you, something from topics, it seemed like in my head is spinning.
Okay.
So I apologize.
Don't
So,
apologize.
Can you explain what a quorum?
A quorum is how many people you need to do business,
Okay.
right? It's the amount of, and it's not people, it's members, right? So they have to be paid members of your PTA. Paid members. They don't belong to your PTA if they didn't give you money. You need their money. Take their money. Right? So the quorum, yeah, that is, I'm sorry. So the quorum is the amount of people you need to conduct business. If you don't have, I'll tell you, last year I'm at a school, I had my election meeting and we did not have quorum. So we did not have an election. We had to have our election this year because we didn't make quorum. So when you plan those meetings, right? And it happens to all of us. It doesn't matter how well you advertise, but like, look at your schools, right? When can people come? Is it better right after school? Is it better at 6 o'clock at night? Is it better on a Tuesday? Is it better on a Friday? Right? To make those, so you can do your business, make sure you're working within your own community.
What time of the day don't you have?
Oh, yeah.
What time of the day don't you have a meeting? Anybody?
Yes.
School hours. We see a lot of units having PTA meetings at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning when who can't be there?
People to work and teachers.
Yeah.
Teachers.
Yeah.
Teachers, the T in PTA.
Yeah.
They can't attend because they're teaching your kids, right? So why are you holding a meeting at that time?
Right.
Right? You do not hold them, you're not supposed to hold them at all on school campus during school hours. That's against school board policy. So the principals are in violation by letting you have those meetings during school hours on school.
But no one here does that, right? That's right.
So I wanted to also share with you all, I know this year, the last 2 years because of the pandemic, it was like almost non-existent.
I feel
It
you.
was very difficult, but this year we've really gotten really great turnout. And for our general meeting, what we did is we allowed folks to RSVP via Sign Up Genius. And if you couldn't be in person, then we opened up a Zoom, a venue so folks can join in. And then we also partnered with a local martial arts company who wants to get more business. And so the deal was you provide us a free lesson so people don't have the excuse, I have kids and I can't come. And so as the kids were chopping boards on the other side of the
The parents were
cafeteria,
able to have the
we were
meeting.
having our meeting and voting on the budget and doing.
Yeah, and that's a great way to do it. If you have a partner that can help you with those kids. And there's no reason why kids can't come to the meetings. Bring some crayons and coloring books and put them in the back of the room, right? Like we don't want to exclude people. We always want to be always with the right intention, always with inclusivity in mind. Okay.
A question from online. What is considered the official PTA school year? We had a member sign up on June 24th, which was counted in the past year.
Yes, it was.
It's July 1.
It's July 1 to June 30th. So if you join PTA June 1st, that's the prior school year, you have to join again to be a voting member the next year. It's yes. Yes, ma'am.
Speaking of activities for the kids, can you say what line items, for example, if you wanted to do like coloring books or get a station for like when you have meetings for young people to do?
So if that was my budget, I would have that under administrative costs.
Thank you.
And that would be like hospitality. And you can make it generic.
Can it be under hospitality?
Well, it is hospitality because you're entertaining little people, right? So when you do your line items, you need them to be specific enough that they can't be abused, but generic enough that you can, I need to buy coloring books for a meeting that is hospitality because I'm right. We're making sure people are welcome. And if that means they have to bring their kids, how can we make the kids feel welcome?
Right.
But if you put coloring books in your line item, then you can't use it for anything but coloring books.
Right.
Okay.
Why do we try increasing membership? One reason why we push membership.
Because their dues pay for programming.
Anybody else? Rebecca.
There's no advocacy without numbers.
Yes.
Advocacy. We are the #1 advocacy group in the nation, right? We have Florida PTA has 3 people in Tallahassee at all times when the session is in, right? They're up there in session, talking with legislators and advocating for our children in the state of Florida. If we go to the governor, I've written to the governor many times over the thing, and we've gotten responses back. We've made a change. You know why? Because when we go to the governor with 29,000 members from Broward County, they know that's 29,000 votes.
Yep.
Right. When we go to the governor or to a legislator with 289,000 members in the state of Florida, it makes a difference. If we go there with 500 members, they're not even going to listen to us.
Yep. And
that's why we increase membership for advocacy, not because of membership, not because of increase your funds. Because remember, membership is not a fundraising for your unit.
Right.
You want to just get as many members as you can,
right?
Because that's advocacy and support for your unit and your school and
your
kids. So don't make your membership $20 because we did a thing at the state, me and Maxine did it. The first 10 people that send us their link, the member hub will join your PTA. Man, I got schools that are charging $25 a PTA.
That's ridiculous.
But
so
on that note, right.
Keep your dues as low as possible. Okay.
And make your meetings as accessible as possible. Make it a value to your members, right? So if that means we need to have kids there, we need to have kids there. If that means right? So that is the importance of making these meetings inclusive.
Can I also add, I am 100% on board with your message as far as advocacy. I will also say when we had our meeting greet at school, a lot of parents came with the excuse, I'm sorry if that word offends folks. I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I don't have the time. So one thing I did mention to them is, although you don't have the time, you can volunteer as often and as much as you can, but your membership still helps to go in the pot for the program.
I tell people they don't have to volunteer at all.
It sounds like
you don't have to volunteer at all. I just want your money.
What you tell them is we don't need your time. All we need is your voice.
Right.
That's all.
And their money is their voice, right? Like that membership is how we register members.
And membership does, when you join a PTA, it rolls over until September 1st. Okay. And the reason is because when you have your first meeting, you have to vote on a budget. You need members that have been members for at least 30 days.
Right.
So your membership does roll over, so they have until September 1st to rejoin again. Okay.
Okay. So preparing for that first general, okay, hold on. I see a question here.
Date for the general members is.
There is no cutoff date for people to join your PTA.
No, I mean, you said something about like June.
Oh, the fiscal year.
Yeah.
Our fiscal year is July 1st through June 30th. So that's the year. So it's not January to December, it's July to June.
Yes. And so.
So that's how the membership runs. So if you join any time in that year, you're a member for that year.
Okay, and then every year.
You join again.
And
Yeah.
that includes the officers.
Everybody. Your officers have to be PTA members, right? Like they have to be. But anybody that wants to participate in your business has to be a PTA member as well. So if they want to vote on the budget, if they want to vote on your calendar, or whatever it is, they have to be a member of your PTA as well. Okay. And that includes administration or teachers. If teachers want to vote at a meeting, they got to be paid members. Okay. I don't know who was next.
I just wanted to ask the group, what are they charging for the membership? Ours is $8, and I'm curious what everybody else charges. Five.
I do, and I have 5 for students, 7 for adults.
Okay.
Like it's whatever you guys decide. You can make it whatever it is. But you want it to be like, look at your community. Don't outprice your community. Don't underprice your community. Yes.
Be sure that your member hub page includes community members.
Yes.
Because I go on PTA's member hubs all the time, and there's nowhere for me to join because I'm not a parent, I'm not a teacher, and I'm not a student.
Yes.
So
So add a button.
And I can't.
You can add community members. If you sell business memberships, maybe you have a business that'll pay $100 to be a business member, add that button, like check it all. And it still goes towards membership, right? Because you're setting the price. It's just under membership when they pay on member hub, under membership. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I got a question.
1 second.
Do chairs and committees have to be paid members?
Everybody. If they're sitting on your board, if they're coming to a board meeting, they have to be a paid member. Yeah. I had a question online.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning.
Talking about paid memberships. If you have a PTA member that says, does t-shirts and you need t-shirts, is it a conflict of interest to have them advertise their business within the PTSA?
Are they on your board?
No, they're not on our board. They're
No, I mean,
members.
you can use any vendor. I mean, if you have somebody that's willing to give you a deal or they're a partner for your PTA, and we do sponsorships or partnerships all the time, right? We had EdFed is helping sponsor this event. Papa John's is giving us lunch for this event. They are our sponsors. They're also PTA members. But if you sit on the board, you cannot benefit from business from the PTA. That's an ethics violation, right? So if I own a t-shirt, unless I'm donating my goods to the school, I can't make money because I'm an officer on the board, right? So everybody should sign an ethics letter. And if you need a sample, we can post one on our website. But these are some of the things in that ethics form. Like you shouldn't profit from your PTA, your family shouldn't profit from you. And that doesn't mean your family, if you have, my husband is a general manager for Smoky Bones. He gives me half price food for my events. But he doesn't make money off of it. It's not his business, right? He works there, but he does all the labor for free, right? He'll go in and he'll cut all the pork for free so that I don't have to pay for it, right? And he does events like that you take advantage, survey your school. Find out what people have in your school. Maybe you have an accountant in your school that help you with taxes. Maybe you have a pet sitter that, would be willing to help your PTA with something or other, or advertising, or I have no idea. But your community offers you have parents in your community that can help your PTA grow, right? And take advantage of that, you know? But the ethics forms is that you cannot, you or your family should not personally profit from PTA. PTA is about advocating, not about, you know, we say it's a business, but it's not in the business of making money to make money, right? It's in the business of raising funds for programs and advocacy. Okay, so with that, we have that first general meeting, usually August or September, right? You want to make sure you have your budget that's been approved by your board, right? If you're going to make any bylaws changes, that needs to be at that meeting too. That has to get voted on by your general membership. And that's also where you kind of want to give them the plan for the year, right? Like, oh, we're going to do the carnival, we're going to do a book fair, and we're going to host books and blankets or whatever it is. You kind of want to give them that overview for the year. And your calendar and your budget should work together. Yes.
I have a question about the bylaws. You have 30 days to notify your general.
So your general meeting should be advertised,
Right.
right? Anyway, a bylaws change, you have to post it or you have to send it out? No, right? That's just us. Okay, so you don't have to do that. But you have to advertise your meetings, and that's in your bylaws, tells you how many days you have to advertise your meetings for. Right? It's in you put it in your bylaws how many days you advertise, and if you have to have a special meeting, how many days. So the general meeting is generally like that's being advertised all, you know, like that's the first meeting of the year.
Right.
And if there's an emergency meeting or something happens, our fundraiser ran away with all our money and now we can't have the spring carnival. We got to change our budget. No. So that would be, we have to have an emergency meeting to change our budget. Right. That's an emergency. Right. And now we gotta advertise it for whatever your bylaws might say 3 or 5 days. And you want to because now we got to change it in a hurry. We can't wait till we were going to have our next general meeting. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
And how many people have a meeting every month? Good. How many people have it at least 3 times a year? Because that's the minimum you can have is 3 times a year, right? So if you're having them every month, let your parents know that it's the first Monday of the month or second.
Yeah,
Tuesday,
try to make,
because if you're consistent, they can plan for those meetings and you'll get better attendance.
Okay. I got to go get my plug. It's in the cafeteria. Okay. So,
What kind of computer is it?
if you want, I don't know. It's a Dell. That works. So I don't know what I was talking about. Bylaws. Okay. When you finish who has to sign the bylaws?
The principal, the secretary, the principal, the secretary.
Right. So if your principal's not at that meeting, your recording secretary can do it. Can't figure out Velcro. And your president has to sign. And then what do we do with them afterwards? Yeah, this doesn't fit. Submit to where? It doesn't fit. I have to go. Thank you. Sorry.
How many more slides?
No, not many.
I'm getting through it.
Upstairs, it's in a purple Florida PTA bag. When you have your meeting, walk in, have your budget, have a sign-in sheet, have an agenda. It makes things just go faster.
Know how to get a sign-in sheet, how to make a sign-in sheet with your members. Right, on Member Hub. If you go on Member Hub and you can print out all of your members on an Excel spreadsheet, delete all their information. So the only thing you have is their first, the last name, and their email. Right?
And you can just have them highlight
have a
themselves
column
in.
next to it where they sign.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. But you have to have a sign-in sheet so you know who's able to vote and who's not able to vote.
Right. And that goes where? Where does the sign-in sheet go? No, when you're done with it.
Oh, in your
Secretary book, right? Because it'll say like who attended your meeting. Usually they'll say see attached sign-in sheet. But that's in case there's ever any like, oh, we didn't have a quorum that day. Yes, we did. right? So you want to make sure you keep those
I've
records.
done a lot of elections at schools that there's no sign-in sheet, so we had no idea, and there was a lot of parents sitting there, we had no idea who was a member and who wasn't a member.
Right. So you want to make sure you're checking. If you're going to have some kind of contentious vote or election vote, you want to make sure that you definitely want to check membership then too, but then you also might want to change the way you're voting, right? Like maybe you want to give out cards as people are coming in to raise, or maybe they're going to write on the ballot who they're voting for. So keep that in mind too, right? That you have, if you know that kind of meeting, it's going to be that kind of meeting, have those tools and resources already there.
Reach
Right?
out to the council.
We
We'll
can
come
help
do
you
your
with that.
elections
Yeah, we can
if
help you with
need us
that.
to. If it's gonna be contentious, believe me, I've gone and did elections at a school where I had 7 people running for every position. And it took forever. Because
Oh,
you
I'm
gotta
sorry,
give
yeah.
Everybody at least 1 to 2 minutes to speak of why they want the position. So
Is that it?
if you've got 7 people running for president, and when that person didn't make president, they ran for the next position, and they just kept running for every position. So it can take a while, but it has to be done proper, because you'll have that one person in there that will say it wasn't done by Robert's rule. Right? Everybody should know who Robert is.
Can I do what?
You briefly expound upon this? I mean, at least I know I benefited from asking you, but you got a lot of new people in the room.
Yeah. So these sample agendas, this works for a regular PTA meeting. It also works for your general PTA meeting, right? I mean, and maybe you don't need to give a pledge at your board meetings, but you want to make sure you have a quorum always, right? So, and then you're going to approve minutes from the prior meeting. If it's a general meeting, it's general meeting to general meeting. If it's board meeting, it's board meeting to board meeting for your minutes, right? There should always be a financial report, a treasurer's report. That can be if you're using QuickBooks or MoneyMinder or whatever.
Nicole, I can answer your question regarding who are all the board of directors. It is your elected committee members. So it would be your president, treasurer, secretary, if you have corresponding secretary, VPs, those are your executive board or your executive committee. Did you all hear me?
Thanks, Wendy. Yeah,
You're
I
very
hear you.
welcome.
So,
You're very
so what is the difference between the executive committee and the board of directors?
No, they're one and the same.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's what was confusing me. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And let me clarify that when you say board of directors, related to regular council, we normally say executive committee. However, when you're on the state level, the board of directors are everyone, which includes the chairs and everyone else. So it's different. We use the word executive committee here or executive board. Executive board will be everybody else, which includes the chair, but they use board of directors in Florida PTA. Just
Okay.
clarification.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. It looks like the Zoom got disconnected. I think I saw a question. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, there it is, chat. This meeting. I think Anthony had a great idea. We used to do the same thing where we had, when SAC and SAF had their meeting, PTSA did the same thing because you had the greatest amount of parents showing up for those meetings. So If you're having your meetings individually, you might want to talk to your principal to see if you can join it all together. So then you have a higher count of parents' participation. Does anyone else have any questions?
One issue we had with following the PTA meeting after the SAC meeting was the length of time. We lost people because it went on for a while.
Oh, okay.
So we actually tried the other way of not having it with the SAC, and we got a pretty good turnout. So we're just for us, because we're a new board, we're just trying to see what works. But we did actually have a pretty decent and very good turnout for our first meeting, and it did not follow SAC.
Well, that's wonderful. You know what? Everything doesn't work the same way for every unit. So you have to do whatever works in your district.
Right.
And that's absolutely fine, whichever way it
And
works.
so, and then everybody's interested in the first meeting to see how things are going. And so when you have it with SAC and SAF, the principal report, the principal gives a report in SAF. So you don't have to say it again in PTA. So you got to just cross out things and just try to make it quick in the interest of time. And then we do refreshments and stuff like that, no matter what, so that people can bring their kids and stuff like that. Because, you know, you could be done in an hour if everybody got their act together and, you know, just going through things without side conversations.
Right.
Well said. And if you want to reach, I don't know if you all have done any welcoming things for your members, but that's a good way of getting them to come to your meetings also. Invite them to coffee one morning, donuts, whatever it is, and speak to them. Tell them what you are going to do.
We did a breakfast meet and greet.
Okay, that's great.
And we had a good turnout. And then we followed it with our first meeting, which was on its own, not with SAC, and we still had a good turnout. So
that's wonderful.
We were, because SAC is just starting up at the school.
Okay.
So we had our meeting before the first SAC meeting. But we're just seeing how it all plays out, if we need to go back to having it with the SAC. But we had the meet and greet, and we had a breakfast, and people came in who had to bring their kids, and it was a good response. We were happy. I think it's also because it's after COVID and people want to get out.
That's correct too.
Yeah,
but you know what? Go ahead, Anthony.
Go ahead, Wendy. Now I say it's very tough because, like, for us, you have some teachers have kids that they got to go pick up at another school, so you know they don't want to stay, and so I like memberhood because now you can still send out important things, and then they may not enter the meeting, but they can still see what's going on, and then you know they pick and choose what they want to come to. So, but if you keep letting them know what's going on, then you'll get response that way also.
And let me say something, because in the beginning there were a few of you on. In Florida PTA, our goal this year, since I'm membership chair, is to be great. It is capital G dot capital R. Everything's capitalized with a period, except when you get to at the end of the T. And it simply means growth. We're talking about growth. We're talking about retaining our members, whether they were in Member Hub last year or now. You need to reach out to the ones that were there last year. You never know, they might want to come back based on what you are doing for the school year. You need to be engaging, which means we can't always engage by just using Member Hub and sending emails. We need to go back to picking up the phone and just saying, hello, this is blah, 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 blah. I just want to introduce myself. I'm the president of whatever school it is, of Sam's Elementary, and I just want to welcome you. If you have any questions, or just make it personal. That's one thing. And GRE, engaging. A is awards. Remember, when your volunteers come, reward them. Even if it's, let's say, at the end of the year, which most of us do, give them a certificate. If you have t-shirts, you can do raffles and so forth like that. And one thing that we used to do is the member with the most volunteer hours, we would give them, you know, a plaque or something like that, anything that goes up over 200 hours. And I know a lot of volunteers that do a lot. So please reward them. And then another thing is thank you. Just giving a simple note that says, we appreciate you. You volunteered and something like that. And I know when you do the book fair, if I'm not mistaken, it may have changed. You could go in and set up certain parameters that would even send out thank you messages. I'm not sure if it does that, but if it does, in every single way, remember, because these are the people that are joining, these are the people that are giving you funds in order so you can advocate and bring programs to the school.
We what we tried, which increased our membership this year, was we drove it. We did a membership drive, but through the kids. So we did a donut party. So we had a competition with the first period classes, and we set the class that increased the membership by the biggest percentage win the donut party. And let me tell you, those parents were signing up.
Absolutely.
Because our membership was down, and we're like, why is it down? But that did the trick. So.
And that's great. And so like for us, like every 50 members, we don't let them know, but then we kind of do like a little gift. So we might give their kid a free spirit shirt or something like that. And so once we get signature numbers, because like last year was awful. And you know, for my thing, it's 100% teachers, and I can't get, but like I only had like 60 members last year. Before school even started, I was already at 100. So we was like very excited and stuff like that. And so it's, you know, you have to space it out too, because at the beginning of the year, the parents are buying school clothes, supplies and stuff like that. And so you want to kind of give them an opportunity once they, you know, get back into it before the holidays to maybe come with the members and stuff like that. But I like the donut party thing too.
Yes. And you know what, one unit, I can't remember if it's Pasco, one of those counties. And basically they said one of the things that make them increase membership is every single month they give a give back to anyone that joined within that month. And parents or people just like to hear their name being called or put in their newspaper. Their membership increased, not double, but tripled. So any which way, any ideas, any things you think of, just do it. Even if it's the first time, it may not work, but you know what? At least you tried. So those are great ideas.
And so that was my thing with the treasurer's report, because we make our money off our spirit wear because they have to sell the PE uniform. But then people would see that and like, oh, they don't need they don't need my membership. They have enough money.
Yeah, I know. I know. Tell them what you need it for. You need it for programs, because every one major fundraiser you have, like yours is your spirit shirts, you have to do 3 give backs.
Right. Well, our biggest thing this year is we're trying to do a marquee, because in the Nova zone, the high school has a nice marquee. So that's our thing. We're trying to do a marquee this year. So we're fundraising for that.
So let me ask, have your general body voted for that?
Yes, general bodies voted. We talked to the school board person that's responsible for the thing. We're doing a quote through the school board to.
Okay.
Even Bert helped us out. Bert came. He was present last year. He came to one of our meetings, and
okay,
you know, we told him what our idea was. So we're going through all the right channels.
Okay, and you do know, I'm not sure if Dr. Wanza is in charge of her department anymore, but there is a letter out there that basically says, when you take on these projects, if anything happens to that marquee, your PTA is responsible to fix it, or anything money-wise. If, let's say, the project was budgeted for 10,000 and it costs you another 4,000, that you all are responsible for all of it, that the school board will not help in any way financially.
Right, tracking. We're tracking.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well done. And I will say, PTA, we do not promote doing capital budgets in any way. So what Anthony was talking about, we would consider that capital because it's fixed under school. and will not go away. So anything, you know, like buying computers and all that stuff, we're not saying not to do it. If your general body votes it in, we can't override them. It's up to you all. Just know that the responsibility of it, even buying like a copier, it is your responsibility. Okay?
Thanks, Wendy.
You're very welcome. Anyone questions, any suggestions? Any things that you all have done that works that you can share?
I have a question.
Sure.
So I understand why we don't promote capital, investments.
Correct.
How about if we say we're making contribution, are we still then responsible for it totally? Or we just made a contribution towards it and that's it?
If is it the school idea or is it PTA idea? That will make a decision.
Okay, so what if it was a need for the school and the parents saw that need and wanted to do something towards it?
We would have, you know what, that's a question I would have to ask because like I said, it's not something that is promoted through that department. However, I can get clarification if you send me your information and I will respond. I do know they did state that we would have, as a PTA, PTSA, would have to pay for the whole project. But if you know what, you can do, this is what you can do to probably get around it. You might be able to write them they have to, receipts, make sure you receive receipts. Just write a grant for it. Give them a grant.
Okay.
So if it's $3,000, $4,000, just give them a grant, but make sure you have your backup because everything has to be cleared by the IRS.
Okay. And make sure you get all the costs because some things can be expensive and it got hidden costs. So like, just for example, the marquee with everything is like $58,000.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry. That's
How
goals
did you
from my
fundraise
PTA.
for that?
That's goals from my PTA to aspire to. Whoa.
Let's just say there are people that are on this call that can really help. It is good if you could help one another because there are PTAs on this call right now that do very well.
Okay, I need to know what PTA you are because I'm gonna hook up with you afterwards.
Anthony, she's talking
That's
to
Anthony.
you.
Yeah, I heard. So I'm in Nova Middle. So the thing, and that's why the principal invited me back because I did it for my daughter. So I'm full-time military and then I was at the sheriff's office, but I'm just a person that's friendly. So like, even though my daughter's going out of high school, the high school principal still wants me to come to the SAC meeting because sometimes when we have meetings, like say fire drills and stuff like that, parents complaining, oh, my kid's missing class. Like, but when it all actually, how you train is what you do. So, the kids sometimes not paying attention when the fire drill anyway, but it's important that they have those things so it'll just be instinct for them to do those things. So we might have a donation that somebody's going to take care of the whole thing for us. And that's the thing, you have to be out there and like they were saying, like Sharon was saying, you have people that are just looking to help out in the community. And so that's what we're trying to do, just, different community partners and stuff like that. Because we have Dr. Wilson and she has like 12 community partners, veterinarians, different stuff. And they come to each of the meetings and, they do their little spiel and stuff like that. So, but, the one thing that we're trying is, because that's, at the elementary school, there's so many fundraisers, but middle school, we just do the one. But we're looking at doing like the Frozen Friday and see how that works. But that's something that could easily be very profitable. And that's the thing you have to look at. What are you doing? How much profitable is it? Because you're only making like $1 or something like that versus, you selling the ice cream and making $3 off it, it builds up faster for you.
Right.
It looks like our president is, I'm sorry, it looks like our president is trying to get back on. She isn't connected. It looks like she's connected right now.
It's me. Sorry, it's me. I'm not Sharon.
Yes.
It's Heather.
Oh, okay. It's Heather Brooks. Okay.
Sorry, I was just checking in on you.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Now we're going to questions. Heather, what time is the first session supposed to end?
I believe it was 12 o'clock.
Okay, so we'll take a few more questions and then does anyone else? And I wanted to say, Melissa had a question and I just want to address it. It says, give me 1 second. At Glades, not a question, what they did. We have a monthly volunteer spotlight and the winner gets vouchers. Melissa, vouchers for what? Because it sounds great. Is it the kids getting the vouchers or is it the adults?
Wendy, so it's basically anything we can get our hands on that has already been donated. For example, we have like, let's say 1,000 Jeremiah vouchers. So
okay,
last year, since we did not have that, I bought like a bunch of Krispy Kreme certificates and I was doing
great.
this. And then our president this year, Anna, was like, hey, we can put this in the budget. So I mean, she's wonderful. So it's something like, just thinking outside the box. Hey, this doesn't cost anything. How about we spotlight them, put them in the news letter for Member Hub
Absolutely.
and social media, and then they get the little vouchers. What do you think, Anna? Oh, I think she's on there. And no, and I was just gonna piggyback on the marquee. Our wonderful Sunset Lakes president is also taking on that initiative, and our Glades president also, how you sell t-shirts? She like created a store in there with uniforms and gear, and it has been surprisingly a very really pretty lucrative, I would say, venture. So if you want to connect with Sunset Lakes and Glades, great things happening there too.
Okay, sounds great. And Kalada had her hand up for a while, so unmute yourself, please. Kalada, I'm sorry.
Sorry, operating from phone now. I lost
Okay.
Wi-Fi access on the laptop. So the only other last comment I have is because at our school, our principal is hoping to renovate our media center into sort of a collaborative, more inclusive special needs domain space with great technology access so that classrooms can actually use it as a collaborative space to move children out of their classrooms and into a different learning space. But the only other comment and feedback that I remember from training this summer at convention is that if you do direct a donation letter or a grant letter specifying funds from your PTA to this particular initiative, right, that you very clearly outline that if the funds are not specifically used for what they're intended, they're to revert back to the PTA or
Correct.
give a certain timeline, meaning that if it's not executed within X period of time, meaning 2 years, 3 years.
Absolutely.
Because that's the other thing, that you don't want to turn over a huge check for like $10,000 and then come to find out that it was never effectively used for what it was intended. You'd have a lot of angry parents and community members, knocking down the PTA office door. So that's just the one caveat that was strongly encouraged and suggested on our end, so
And
that
that's-
future boards kind of understood the terms of the donation.
Great.
Absolutely
Sorry.
correct. And remember, a president is only in place for a local unit for 1 year. So you cannot expect that next board to pick
Can do
up
the thing.
whatever your adventures are. If they do not want to do it, take that into consideration. So when you're making these decisions, make it based on your year only. Okay?
Roger. Great comment too. So, because like with us, the 411 donated the courtroom, and so they had where they were doing binders, so you could put your kid name, what year they were there, on the binder thing. And so after we left, the vendor went out of business, and so people had paid already to get their binder up there, and the school has been trying to find someone to make it. And so that's a thing that they ran into, where the parents are sending emails like, hey, why isn't my kid name up there? I already
Correct.
paid for it.
Absolutely. And your school, I know, I've seen that courtroom. It's beautiful. And
Thank
I think you're welcome. Whoever was talking about sensory or anything with DEI, please, if you can, connect to Melissa. What school are you at? Okay, you're at What school are you at, Melissa?
I am at Glades Middle School as an elected officer and then ESC coordinator, and Sunset Lakes as an ESC coordinator. We have a sensory room there that the school started, and we have a line item that our wonderful president was, you know, able to advocate for us as well. And we're helping them place as many things as they need. But remember also that the principal can have a sensory room 1 year, and the next year she's like, okay, that room's not going to be used anymore. So
Correct.
what we do is we push them like, hey, we just got you this, so that they're encouraged to make sure that they're taking their kids to use it. So it's like something like a space for them they actually use and need. So just something to keep in mind.
Sounds great. And I'll take the last question. It's from Paloma.
Hi, I'm the president of Sunset Lakes. It's a pleasure. I just wanted to add there that when you're raising for this, you know, big line items, at least what we have done in the past, you know, other presidents in our Sunset Lakes, you know, even with computers, you know, we attached a letter stating that PTSA is not going to be responsible either next year or any other year. Of if it breaks, if we have to replace it, we're not responsible for that. We cannot, like you just mentioned, you know, we cannot put this upon other presidents or other board members in the next following years. That's not our responsibility. Just because, you know, I know a few of you are, you know, raising big line items. We ourselves, you know, we're raising for the marquee as well. But when we met with the principal, I was very clear in mentioning, you know, we will raise for this, but we are not, and we will never, you know, if it breaks, we're not gonna fix it. Right. And, you know, that's going to be said with the letter attached, you know, when we finalize, you know, this item. So just to put it out there, because I think a lot of people forget that you need to attach a letter just to make sure.
Just to cover yourself, cover your PTA.
Yes,
absolutely.
You do.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for getting on this Zoom. I put my information in the chat again. If you all would like to email me and then tell me your specifics, like Melissa, ESE, and so forth. And then, because there are individuals that are on this call that wanted to connect with her with regards to that. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I also put Sharon's information in the chat. And before we end it, I will say, and I'm sure you all know, it's president@browardptsa.org. Everything goes through the president first and then comes to us. So any ideas or information that you all would like me to relay to her, please send it and I will send her the information and she will then delegate who will be addressing what. Okay, it's been a pleasure talking to you all. Anthony, I know you're going to reach out to me. You all have a great rest of your day and I will see you all. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, before I'm going to put in chat a session feedback form. It's a Google form link. Hold on, I'm getting the link for you right now.
That's Heather Brooks. She is our amazing media person. I can put a lot of titles to her, but amazing fits it all because there's nothing that she cannot do. That slide, the program, when you look at the program, she created the program and it's beautiful. So.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome.
And also I'm going to plug, because I know that a lot of people don't realize there's so much information on our website. Absolutely. There's local unit compliance information. There's all the links to national and state for your bylaws, for standing rules, for your anything you can think of. We're like a clearinghouse because we want to make sure it's super easy for you and your boards to find information. Absolutely. So please take a look. A couple of the really important ones would be local unit resources. Also, if you go into legislative, that is a great resource for advocacy and how to advocate as a PTA. All of our programs, so reflections, our awards, our scholarships are all there. So as the information gets updated, I plop it in there, and there's just there. If you have a question, go to the website first. You'll probably find your answer, and if not, it'll give you a link of exactly who to contact. So we're here for you. We're here to give you information and to help you guys succeed.
And then really quick question, will the feedback forms be emailed to registrants?
I am planning on, right now, the feedback forms, anybody who's in person is doing a survey there. I am going to email the link to everybody who joined our Zoom calls. Fingers crossed. I got to go through and make sure that I can get everybody's email from here. I think I can, so I should be able to send that out just in case you have not been able to click on the link in the chat box right now. Because yes, we really do want your feedback. I know that, you know, this was our first hybrid event, and so technology, but you know, we're PTA flexible. So thank you, but yes, please, you know, give us that feedback. All feedback is great and helps us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody.
And with that being said, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a
Bye.
great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're very welcome.
Bye, thank you.